Look down at your hands right now. Touch your neck. Smile into the mirror. If something just looked a little off, that's not random and it's not nothing. That's your body talking, and almost nobody's ever taught to actually listen. Here's the thing people get wrong. Unhealthy doesn't announce itself with a scary diagnosis out of nowhere. It shows up small first, in your nails, your neck, the corners of your eyes, quietly changing shape and color while you scroll right past it, assuming it's nothing. We're covering 9 of these signs today. Starting with your eyes and ending with a 10-second mirror trick doctors have quietly relied on for decades. One almost nobody watching this has ever actually tried. Stick around for that one, and if this is the kind of thing you want more of, hit like and subscribe right now before we get into it. Bumps under your eyes. Ever notice small, soft, yellowish bumps forming near the inner corners of your eyes? They're not pimples. They don't hurt. They definitely don't go away with any face wash on earth. Trust me, people have tried. Those are called xanthelasma, and they're basically little deposits of cholesterol sitting right under your skin. Your body's storing fat in a spot you'd never expect, and it's usually one of the earliest visible signs that your cholesterol has been running high for a while now, quietly, in the background. Here's the part that throws people off. You can feel completely fine, energetic, totally normal, and still have these show up. That's what makes them sneaky. They're painless, so they get filed under just a skin thing and forgotten about. If you've got them, a simple cholesterol panel is worth doing. Cheap test, 10 minutes, and it tells you something your own face has apparently already known for months. Spoon-shaped nails. Now flip to your nails, but this time look at the actual shape, not just the surface. Press a fingernail flat against a table and check. Does it curve outward and up like a tiny spoon instead of lying flat like it should? That shape has a name, koilonychia, and it's one of the more dramatic signs of long-term iron deficiency out there. Your body's been so low on iron for so long that even the structure of your nail plate starts physically changing shape to prove it. What's interesting is this usually creeps in slowly, over months, so you never actually catch the moment it happened. One day, you just glance down and go, wait, when did my nails start looking like tiny spoons? Iron-rich food and a blood test are the move here. And if you're already someone who craves ice constantly or feels tired no matter how much you sleep, this symptom stacked on top of those is basically your body sending the exact same message 3 different ways at once. Dark, velvety patches on your neck. Somebody in your life has probably said you should wash your neck better at some point, maybe more than once. Turns out that advice might be completely wrong. Dark, thickened, almost velvety patches of skin around the back or sides of your neck. Sometimes your armpits too. Usually aren't about hygiene at all. That's called acanthosis nigricans, and it's strongly linked to insulin resistance, meaning your body's struggling to use insulin the way it's supposed to. No amount of scrubbing fixes it, because you're not actually scrubbing away dirt, you're trying to scrub away a hormonal signal, which understandably doesn't respond to soap. If this describes your neck, it's genuinely worth getting your blood sugar checked, especially if it showed up gradually over the last year or 2 rather than overnight. Way more useful long-term than another loofah. Losing the outer third of your eyebrows. Quick eyebrow check right now. Look specifically at the outer edge, the part closest to your temples. Thinner than the rest? Almost see-through compared to everything closer to your nose? Losing hair specifically from the outer third of your eyebrows, while the inner part stays completely normal, is a classic and honestly kind of wild sign of thyroid issues. Your thyroid controls a huge chunk of your metabolism, and when it's underactive, hair growth in that exact spot tends to be one of the very first things to slow down. People spend actual money filling in that gap with makeup year after year, without ever once asking why it's happening there and nowhere else on their face. Which is fair, but also kind of backwards when you think about it. If your eyebrows have been thinning right there and only there, a simple thyroid panel can answer the exact question your makeup routine has been quietly working around this whole time. Hands and feet that are always cold. You know that one person who wears socks to bed in the middle of summer and still complains their feet are freezing? That might not just be bad circulation, casually said and shrugged off at dinner. Chronically cold hands and feet, even in a warm room, can point to a handful of different things: low thyroid function, anemia, or poor circulation that goes beyond just genetics. Your body's essentially prioritizing your core organs and rationing warmth everywhere else, like it's running some kind of energy-saving mode you never actually agreed to. The tricky part is everyone treats this like a personality trait. Oh, I've just always run cold. Maybe. Or maybe your body's been quietly redirecting resources for years and nobody in your life ever thought to question it out loud. If it's a constant, year-round thing and not just a chilly office situation, that's genuinely worth mentioning at your next checkup, not just something to laugh off with extra blankets. Cuts and scrapes that take forever to heal. Everyone's had a cut that took a couple extra days to close up. That's completely normal. What's not normal is a small scrape that's still an open wound 3 full weeks later. Slow healing wounds are one of the more overlooked signs of high blood sugar. Elevated glucose messes with circulation and your immune system's ability to actually repair tissue. So what should heal in a week can drag on for a month, sometimes even longer than that. This one's less sneaky and more just plain ignored, honestly, because people assume they're bad at healing or blame themselves for picking at the scab, when the real explanation is happening quietly at a cellular level they can't see at all. If wounds are consistently taking way longer than they reasonably should, a blood sugar test isn't overkill. It's actually the single most direct way to find out why. Bruises that show up out of nowhere. You wake up, there's a bruise on your leg, and you have zero memory of ever hitting anything. Everyone laughs it off as being clumsy, again. But if this keeps happening constantly, clumsiness probably isn't the full story here. Frequent unexplained bruising can be linked to low platelet counts, vitamin C or K deficiency, or your blood simply not clotting the way it's supposed to. Your skin is basically displaying internal damage that technically shouldn't be visible from the outside at all. The reason this gets brushed off so easily is that bruises are just so common, nobody bothers connecting the dots between I bruise a lot and maybe I should actually ask why that is. If bruises are showing up weekly with no real explanation attached to them, that's a genuinely useful thing to bring up with a doctor, not just something to quietly cover with a long sleeve. Fingertips that look rounded and swollen. This next one's the sign almost nobody's ever heard of, which is exactly why it matters so much. Look at your fingertips from the side, right now. Do they curve downward and look puffy where the nail meets the skin, almost like a tiny drumstick? That's called clubbing. And it's one of medicine's oldest, strangest physical clues, often tied to long-term lung or heart conditions where your blood isn't carrying enough oxygen through your body. Your body actually starts changing the physical shape of your fingertips in response to something happening deep inside your chest. Comment below if you've ever actually checked your fingertips like this before today, because honestly, most people haven't, not even once. This isn't something you'd ever notice by accident. It genuinely takes sitting down and looking. If your fingertips genuinely look like this, it's not really a wait-and-see situation. It's worth getting checked out fairly soon rather than filing it away as just another quirky body thing. The inside of your lower eyelid looking pale. One more, and this one takes about 10 seconds to check for yourself. Gently pull down your lower eyelid and look at the inside of it, right where it's normally a deep, healthy pink or red color. If that inner rim looks pale, almost washed out and colorless, that's actually a physical exam trick doctors have used for decades to spot anemia without needing a single blood draw. Less blood flow and lower iron levels literally show up as less color in that thin, delicate tissue. What makes this one different from everything else on this list is that you can actually track it against yourself over time. Take a photo now, check again in a month, and you'll genuinely be able to see whether it's improving as you fix your iron levels. It's a strange little mirror trick, but it's stuck around in medicine for a reason. It works, and it costs nothing but 10 seconds and a well-lit bathroom mirror. 9 signs, 9 completely different parts of your body, and every single one was your body handing you information early, quietly, way before any of this had a chance to turn into a real emergency. None of this is here to scare you into thinking something's seriously wrong. Most of these have simple explanations and simple fixes once you actually know what you're looking at. The problem was never that your body stayed silent. Nobody ever taught you the language it's been speaking this whole time. So go check one thing right now, your nails, your neck, your eyelids, whatever stuck with you most, and drop a comment telling me which sign caught you off guard. I read every single one. Share this with someone who needs to see it, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.